Solace for the hurting, solace for the hurting, solace for the hurting. My God is solace for the hurting, solace for the.
Hello there, welcome to yet another mind-blowing edition of Solace for the Hurting. We are saddled with the responsibility of bringing you succor, bringing you hope, bringing you peace and joy, irrespective of what you've been through in life. I am Okwuchi Judith, your host. And I'm not alone, I'm here with my co-host, Okwuchi. Okwuchi, hi.
Hi, Judith.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Okay, my
It's
dear.
nice being here again. You have gone through our stories, you have gone through our testimonies, and we believe you are liking our program.
Yes, sure.
And we would like you to tell other people about this program. Please invite them, tell them about this program, let them watch us. As they do, their lives will be changing for the better.
You can say that again.
Yeah.
We have a guest, a very wonderful guest, a man of God who has been through a lot in life. He's here to share his experiences with us. It's no other person than Pastor Awo. So you're welcome, sir.
God bless you. Viewers, you are welcome.
Yeah, so I want to start by asking you to tell us more about yourself.
Well, my name is Pastor Martins Albo. I'm the Director of International Prisons Ministry of Nigeria. I didn't begin to be a pastor as I was growing. The situations and challenges on the will of God made me become a pastor. I didn't like pastors. I felt that they were very poor people. Wow. And because I didn't know God as I was growing. But when I came to know God, I think the sweetest profession I can think about.
That's nice to know, Pastor Martins. And from the way you introduce yourself, it sounds to me you're occupying a very prestigious position, being the ministry in charge of a particular nation.
I don't like flamboyant names. It's just the prisons ministry, the International Prisons Ministry. Okay. It's a ministry God gave into me after I had passed a lot of things in the world. So he gave me this ministry. I was a prisoner. I served time.
Tell us about it.
You want to hear about it?
Yeah, that's why we're here.
If you pay. All right. The story is this. As I was growing, when I left school, I came to Port Harcourt and got a job in a very big national company, very big. And we were well paid. There were about 62 persons who went for the interview. I was the only person selected for the accounting department as the assistant accountant.
You are very astounding in the performance, yeah.
And so the other man was taken for administration. So the other 60 persons went home. We were selected. The job started. And according to them, they said I was doing very well. The company entrusted a lot of things into my hands. I was in charge of salaries and wages for all categories of staff.
Wow.
And I was in charge of haulage contractors, those who carried our goods to different parts of the country. It was a position that made me very comfortable, and I was fulfilled doing that job.
Wow.
As time went on, something happened. There was a time there was drought in the north, and so many of the Hausa Fulanis came down to the east here. The general manager of the company was an Hausa man, and so he ordered administration to get engaged. These people called these Hausa Fulani people and make them megas, that is security people.
Yeah.
They employed them, and they were doing well in their jobs, securing the warehouses. The funny thing about these people was that they left the employment without even informing the department, those who employed them. And so since they were not informed, the administration never informed us not to pay them again. So we continue raising their salaries every month. And at the end of the month, I'll have a lot of money in my till called unclaimed wages. Wow. That was the first temptation that came to me. The boys working with me said, we must begin to share this money, because I was in charge of that department, that we must share it. I should take half, and the two of them should share the other half. This I refused, and I became their enemies. Quickly, I sent back this money to the company with a note, tabulating on month-to-month basis what happened. And my senior officer in the accounting department was Mr. Debowale. He was surprised when these things happened. He said, can this happen in a country like this? I wasn't born again, no. I didn't know what born againism was all about. But morally, I don't know how to steal. That's one of the things I don't know how to do it.
And you must have learnt it from somewhere.
It is the upbringing was there. He did not take anything. I never put my finger into my mother's pot.
Good.
I was the keeper of my mother's money. She would give me her money to keep.
Your accountant thing was inborn. It's inborn, you know.
But along the line, at that time, the National Supply Company was here in Port Harcourt. It was the central place for the Cross River people were coming to buy, Anambra people were coming here, and the Imo people were coming here. At the time, the federal government decided to decentralize it because it was cumbersome for you to be traveling from Calabar to Enugu or Owerri here. So they wanted to decentralize it. It was in this plan of their decentralization that they were looking for people they can trust and send them to the new states. Incidentally, they picked me up and promoted me and transferred me to Owerri as then the accountant. At that time, just that week I was promoted, then a man I never knew before came into my house. I never knew him. I saw him in my house as I came back from work. And I expected he came to look for favor. But eventually he did not come to look for favor. He came to kill. He came to destroy. He came to steal.
Oh my God.
So I never knew him. He called me by my first name, which meant he knew me very well.
Very well.
For somebody to call me by my first name. And so after a lot of introductions, I realized that he was from my area. The next village to my village, 1.5 miles away from mine. And so when we came to the cities now, we become friends, we become brothers.
Sisters, yeah.
So I don't know who told him my house. And after that, and when we entertained him, he told me his mission. He told me he has goods in the wharf and he had no place to stay and clear the goods. And they told him that I was living at that place. So that's how he came. The chapter was closed. And I went out to buy drinks for him. I was into drinks. I was drinking. I was smoking my Benson and Hedges. And the man, incidentally, when I bought beer to him, refused to drink that beer. No, he said, no, we are from Assemblies of God. We are the mother of Pentecostal. We don't drink anything that is intoxicating. Neither do we smoke. Sure, I was ashamed of myself that my elder does not drink, does not smoke, but I was into them. So I quickly sent my younger sister who was staying with me to go and do the change. I was forced to drink Martina instead of beer. So I pretended not to be smoking again. He came on a Monday afternoon and stayed in my house till Saturday. And so, since he told me he was from Assemblies of God, I believed him. That was the time I was defeated. In my village, we had a small group of a band of people called the Assemblies of God. And these people were so faithful. Their guests never gave in to our invitations for party. They were always praying and crying. And if an Assemblies of God man come to the village square to testify, his testimony was accepted, hook, line, and sinker. So that was the idea I now transferred to that man. These Assemblies of God people, you are wonderful people. They don't tell lies, they don't steal. They don't do the things we were doing.
You trusted him.
I trusted him immediately. That is just what happened. So he spent some days up till Saturday in my house, that he cleared his goods and all whatnot. At the end of it, he demanded for some money to take the goods to Aba. I didn't see the goods, but I lent him that money. And I told him that I have been promoted, I've been transferred to Owerri, that anytime he got that money, he can please bring it to me. Man, that the hotel they fixed me, they said I was still going to say was called a hotel called Otukuto Hotel. I never knew the place. He told me he knew the place. And so that morning as he was going, he prayed and prayed for me and blessed me in diverse ways. I said goodbye to him and he left. The following week, I packed down to Owerri and lodged in Otukuto Hotel. 2 months after, this person came. He was old, or he is still older than me. He knew when my mother was married. He knew everything about my family. The younger brother was the person making school uniforms for us as we were in primary school. So he knew me, but I never knew him. As he came to Wari to see me, he returned the money and the money I gave to him. So my confidence in him grew. And I even lodged him in the same hotel I was, paying for his feedings while the company was paying for me. The following day, I took him to the manager. I told the manager, this is my brother. He wants to buy our goods. And what were we selling? Stockfish, which was very popular. Yeah. Rice. All the scarce goods, including cement and the rods. That was what the company was saying, because it was a time of recession also. And so it was a very busy company. People were stealing in the company, but I never thought about it. And so this man came, the manager approved what the manager told him. Said, I will tell your brother now to write whatever he wants to write, an open check. While others were begging for a bale of stockfish, my brother was given the opportunity to buy as much as he wanted to buy, because his accountant's brother. He used it and wrote, we tabulated it and asked him to go and get his check. 2 days after, he came back to Wari and gave me the check. Immediately he gave me the check. I ordered stores, wrote up the documents and ordered the stores to release his goods. His goods were released. The following day, the check was lodged into the bank. 2 weeks after, the same transaction went on. After about another 2 weeks, within 1 month, this man has come in 3 times. I encouraged him to come. I told him to tell other people from my area to come and benefit from my stay in that place. Yes. But he told me not to allow anybody to know that I was here, that my people were thieves and they would put me into trouble. Oh. So I didn't want people to come again. I followed his instructions. Nobody came. And so 4 days after the last transaction, all the 3 checks came back in one envelope. They were all bad checks. And I never saw this man again. That was the story. I didn't know what 499 was. I didn't know how that people could do that to anybody. This was a man who was eating my food. I left my bed at Port Harcourt for him to be sleeping in Owerri. I still abandoned my bed and left him as my senior. So there was no way I could dictate. No wonder the Bible says that the heart is so deceitful and desperately wicked. No man knows it. Shakespeare was talking something about, he says, there is no heart on the man's face to show what his mind is talking about. So the man, I went into trouble at that age, losing that job, and then case started. Trouble came, and I saw trouble in his nakedness. Wow. I saw pain and sorrow. I lost my job, and then my daddy came and helped me. We gave the case to Mr. Ahamba, who is now a son, and so I was granted bail. The most painful thing that the day we went to court, I didn't even sleep in the police cell for a night. I was given bail immediately. The pressmen came and demanded money from me so that they won't even publish the case. I told them, how can I give you money? I didn't commit the offense. Before I could get home that day, it was on the radio that who be pastor. I wasn't a pastor now. That one, the accountant of National Supply, what he stole. It's alleged that I stole so many thousands of naira from, just because I didn't give them the small money they were looking for. They just, before I could go, my name was all over the place. That I've been arrested for stealing, no, embezzling. No, it was stealing. If they had called it embezzling, it could have been something better. But this was stealing. So my heart broke immediately. Me, of all persons, to steal. If they had accused me that I took somebody's daughter, yes, I would say yes, I was into it. I will not deny you. But this one, I don't know how to do it. And they went. I started hating the press that day. From that day, I had another idea about these press people. Well, forgive me if I have spoken the wrong thing, but I've told you why I hate them. Also, the case started. The most annoying part of it, where do I run to? While the case was going on, I was praying. I didn't know whom to run to. The auditors came 3 months after this thing, so I was busy looking for this man. At the time, he sent people to come and kidnap me.
The same man? The
same man, so that the case will not go anywhere again. The driver came to tell me that somebody told him to come and bring me to Ama JK somewhere in the that I have a message from my brother, that my brother. And you know, we don't understand that if anybody tells you that he has a story about him, you will quickly go.
Agreed.
Even in my own regenerated mind, I left the stairs. One very happy that I was going. It was about 5 p.m. Something told me, don't go with this driver. You are going. And he didn't tell me that I would be in trouble. The message inside of me was, don't go with this driver. So I went back with the driver. I said, please come up. And on my desk, I told him, please tell me your number. What's your name? What's the name of your number, vehicle number? He thought I was going with him. He put it down. And there was no handset at that time as such. And I told him, I can't go. It's late. Can you come tomorrow morning so that we can go together? The person they sent was innocent. He didn't even know what was happening. But he just told me. So immediately I went to a friend officer, an inspector, and told him what I was going through. He said, Jay, Martin, you were dead though. If you had gone, they could have killed you. That was the time I started crying. Killing me, what have I done to this man now? He told me, did you have any idea of where this driver came? I took him to my office and said, I wrote this something. The jota now was very bad now. I said, okay, this is his number, this is his number, this is the number of his vehicle. On Sunday afternoon, we left Owerri for Umuahia, where the driver came from. And as soon as we got to Uzuakoli Road, that railway crossing, we saw the driver loading for Owerri. He was caught and carried to Umuahia, to Owerri. That was then in the interview he told them that somebody told him to go and bring him, and that he showed them where I was supposed to be brought. They kept him in custody for about a week and released him. That was not the man I was looking for. So, but then God saved me, even when I didn't know him. By that time, I was looking for help everywhere. So the only person I knew was the messenger of the company messenger. He was very friendly. He was driving motorcycle, the company motorcycle. So I now told him, that was the only person I would tell this story, that I was in trouble. He now took me to one place at Owerri, that man would bring that man back immediately. We spent money that night. We drove throughout the night on a motorcycle and went to a man. By the time whether the man told him his name before I came, he called my by name and said, Martin, don't cry again. I will bring back that man, that brother, he will pay that money. So we paid the money he requested and gave me a substance, a very powdery substance. That every morning before people wake up, I will get up and call the man's name, put a little substance of that thing in my hand and blow. At any way the man is, the man will come back and apologize to me and pay that money. I was confident now that something was going to happen. Why? I didn't know God though. If I had known God, how could I have gone to that man's house? And the person leading me did not know God. All of us were busy drinking beer and smoking our Benson and Hedges. I did this thing for 3 days, nothing happened. I threw it away. Why? I was starting reasoning. This man will not come back because each of the invoices, there were different names and different addresses. So there was no way the spirit in that thing can bring this man back because he must have given us fake names. That one I failed. And so when the trouble started, I went home. The first place I was to go to Cherubim and Seraphim. My mother was a member of Cherubim and Seraphim because being the only son, she wanted to do anything to protect me. So she was always busy buying candles and distributing to so many of their branches to pray for her only son. So when I got by, my mother told me the only way to get saved was to enter Cherubim and Seraphim. This is a place I had not wanted to go because I was a Catholic. But now, to make sure my mother does not die, I followed. They sold dress for me immediately and were clapping hands at me. So the music will be coming, chang, 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 and we'll be dancing. And the people were happy to have captured me. Yes. They were very happy that me of all persons have come to a new convert. Not be small, they have caught a big catch. So the prophecy started coming. One, they should dig grave at the back of the church and bury me there so that the case will be buried. And it will be done, proceeded with 3 days fasting. The church said, amen. Everybody now decided to fast for Carlo for 3 days. And at that midnight, they put me inside the grave, the dog, and brought me out after their prayers and asked me to enter the church without looking back. I was afraid I may become another pillar of salt. So I made sure I didn't look back. And then they put the baby into the grave and covered. As far as they were concerned, the case was dead. Nothing happened. It was wrong. Nothing. Nothing. Case was not closed. It is all recorded in this book, The Betrayal of a Kingsman, the details of what happened.
Wow.
2 months after, I was still in the village. I was tired of village, and people came, they were asking questions. Another sister who was so concerned came, told my father, bring Carlo to Aba. There is a way out. I've seen what to go. Carlo, these people lived with my parents during the war, so they were very friendly. They had good intentions, but it is the way it was happened. So I went to the woman's house, a very good sister, a relation to us. And in their house was everywhere written I was trying to find out, but they said no, lumba, obu. What can happen? And every evening, these people would gather in this woman's house. They would be eating. They were so friendly to one another. And the woman will invite me to come. She wanted to lure me to worship Olumba. I said, no, I'm a Catholic, I don't do that. He said, they use the same Bible. I said, no. He said, Carlo, this is the Papa will deliver you. I said, okay. So she hired a taxi herself from Abak to Calabar to make sure that I was delivered. So we got there. That's them. They baptized me. They didn't ask me any question. They were in a hurry as if to say I was going to change my mind. And so the woman left me there for 2 days to study what they do. And I came back. I had become a Olumba man. I was looking for freedom, where I discovered later that there was no freedom. I served this Olumba, worshiping him, knocking my head on the ground. He couldn't save me. He didn't save me. I have no apologies. I am the person talking. I went through it. The details are found in The Betrayal of a Kingsman here. They took me, after some time, they told me to go to a babit. A babit, they call it spiritual hospital. A babit is at our back. And I went there. They said I should go there. I went there for spiritual something. I went there with a woman from Port Harcourt. That woman was looking for the fruit of the womb. And I was looking for freedom from my case. So they gave us an apartment to sleep and gave us 3 days fasting, no water. That woman has never done it before. I have never done it before. Wow. So at the end of the first day, the woman started fainting because she needed food. I was shouting on them, come on, this woman is fainting. You gave us fasting, she can't continue. She was looking for the fruit of the womb. I was encouraging the woman, say, if it is this, we'll give you baby. Let's try. So I encouraged her, we continued. After 3 days, the midnight of the third day, we didn't drink any water. They took us to a small market there, and we were dancing around the market. What? The funniest thing about it is that while we were dancing, there were soldier ants biting us or climbing on me. So I don't know whether I was fighting the soldier ant or what again. What am I looking for? Freedom. From child, it was so painful. I started crying. For an offense I didn't know how to commit, I am dancing in a small village market with soldier ants climbing me up and down.
Solace for the heart, solace for the heart.